Thanks, Admiral. Thanks, Karine. You had said yesterday that part of the reason why it's so hard to get aid into Gaza is, in some cases, because of the Israeli war cabinet. Is that acceptable?
There's nothing acceptable about the dire situation on the ground in Gaza in terms of the lack of food, lack of water, lack of medicine, in some cases a lack of fuel. That shouldn't be acceptable to anybody. So short answer to your question is no, it's not acceptable, and that's why we continue to work with our Israeli counterparts. As I said in my opening statement, and you've heard the president say as well, and the vice president, that it's time for Israel to open up more crossings and allow more aid in.
And on the vice president, there were reports that the National Security Council had asked her to, quote, tone down her speech on Sunday. What can you say about that?
I would point you to what the vice president's spokesperson already said about that story in calling it inaccurate.
Does the administration still believe it's more effective to withhold public criticism of Netanyahu in order to have more sway in private? And is that private sway waning?
I don't think I'm going to accept the premise of that question. I mean, we have been nothing but candid and forthright in private with our Israeli counterparts, and certainly in public in the comments that we have made. You've heard again from the president and the vice president just recent days expressing very clearly what our concerns are with the humanitarian situation in there and how it is unacceptable and how we need the Israelis to step up and do more.
And just lastly, Hamas said today they won't accept a deal that does not include a complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Is that realistic? And if not, where do negotiations go from here?
I ain't going to negotiate in public. We've been working this real hard. As you heard from President Biden just today, that we're still hopeful we can get there, but nothing is done until everything is done, and not everything is done in terms of this negotiation. So what we're looking for and what we want, temporary ceasefire for about 6 weeks. That'll allow us to get more aid in and, more importantly, get all those hostages back with their families where they belong and reduce the violence. That's the deal on the table. And as the president also said today, it's a rational deal, and the Israelis have been cooperating. They have been negotiating in good faith on this. It's time for Hamas to step up to the plate, take a swing, and let's get this thing done.